Hello, welcome to more yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. For today's class, it's going to be really useful if you can have a strap. A belt will do, a piece of string would do, or a rope. It doesn't have to have a buckle at the end. You don't need to worry about that, but just something long enough that you can take your hands wide. That's all. If you don't have one, you could use a broomstick instead, or a dowel. So you can pause and scurry off and find yourself a strap if you would like to. And then let's start in a tall seat. So I'm going to sit up on a block. If you have a pillow or a block or something that you can sit up on, it just helps release those hips so that they're not in that really tight, deep flexion the whole time. And then sit however is comfortable for you. For me, I like doing this sort of yoga heel in front of heel thing. You don't have to do that. So this pose is called Sukhasana, or easy pose, or even sweet pose. So it should feel easy. That's why I use a block, because it makes it easier for me. And then gently close your eyes. Unless that triggers something, then just show your eyelids flickering, just a single point of focus for your eyes on the wall or the floor in front of you. And for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. And exhale, sigh. 1 breath away. Couple more. And continue breathing however you need to, whether it's in and out through your nose or your mouth. Try not to force the breath too much, though. So sometimes this repetitive, really deep breathing can start to trigger the nervous system into not a relaxed state. And then notice if you're holding tension anywhere. Try to let go. Maybe finding a little bit more length through the spine. And that doesn't mean that you have to grip through the belly or have lots of tension here. It's just finding that length so that the spine is in a neutral, long position rather than rounded forward. Last few breaths here. And then slowly, gently bring your chin to your chest. Might not touch, right? Just lowering the head down. And then take a couple half moon circles. We're not going to drop the head backwards. We're just going to go ear to shoulder, chin to chest, ear to shoulder. Really simple movement, just allowing those muscles to wake up a little bit. And the next time that your left ear is to your shoulder, pause there. You can flick your eyelids open if you want to see. So you don't want to be too twisted, right? You probably pretty much want your face pointing forward, but that left ear is over to the shoulder. And if you're folding sideways, just try to keep long. And then some of you might choose to reach the right fingertips to the floor. And sometimes this takes quite a bit of action through that right arm. So one thing that you could do is wrap the left arm behind you to grab the right forearm. And then you're just using the strength or the bind of that left hand on the right arm to deepen the stretch. So wherever you need to be, a few more breaths here. Right, if you prefer to have the weight of the left hand on the head, you can without yanking or pulling. wherever's going to feel best for you. So maintaining that lateral flexion in the neck, slowly start to rotate your chin or your nose to your shoulder. Tuck the chin under slightly. So again, maybe the right fingertips are just reaching away, maybe you have the hand on the head, maybe you've got the bind on the arms. So you're going to feel the stretch more to the side, or sorry, more to the back, but still on the right side. So lateral posterior. Okay, and if you have any bind on the arms or the head, gently release them. And slowly bring your chin down to your chest. Take a couple little half moon circles or a little head bobble. And then we'll go to the opposite side. So right here comes to the shoulder. Again, it's not going to touch, right? Unless your neck is built differently to mine. Maybe the left fingertips reach to the floor. You could gently add the weight of the right hand to the head, or maybe you start to reach the right hand behind you to find that bind on the left arm. I like it because you can sort of use that hand to pull the arm back a little bit, so you get into the chest and the front of that shoulder joint a little bit as well. A few more breaths here. You might feel this down the upper arm on that left arm, which is totally normal. And again, maintaining that lateral flexion in the neck. Just gently rotate your nose toward your shoulder. Tuck the chin in slightly. Wherever you are with your arms or your hands. Two more breaths here. And then gently release any bind you have on your arms. Bring your chin to your chest. A couple little half moon circles or head bobble. Ooh, there we go. Just gently make your way to hands and knees, please. So knees underneath hips, toes tucked or untucked, hands nice and wide, outer shoulder width apart or wider. And then inhale into cow pose, lifting the tailbone. And then exhale, round into cat. Drop the tailbone down, really press through the shoulder blades. And then slowly move on your own time, on your own breath. Right, as always, if there's any other movement that would feel good here, please feel free to move how you want to move. And then some of you might stay here on hands and knees. Some of you might choose to tuck the toes and lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Last few breaths, whether you're in down dog or hands and knees. And then bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or hop to the top edge of your mat, standing forward fold. You could sway a little bit from side to side. Let the head hang heavy, neck long. So you might even nod the head yes. Shake the head no. Releasing any buildup of tension.
And then gently release the hands with fingertips to your shins or maybe the earth. Inhale, lift up part way. Exhale, let it all go. 2 more. And then bend your knees. Tuck your chin in toward your chest. Head heavy, arms heavy. Slowly roll up to standing. 1 vertebra at a time. Slow as you need to go, and with the knees bent the entire time. Chin tucked right into your chest. So that the very last thing that happens is that the knees straighten, the shoulders loop back, and the head lifts. Maybe a couple extra loops of the shoulders. Up, back, and down, a little wiggle, release, whatever you need to do to release. And then a couple breaths here, just in standing. And then gently flicker your eyelids open and grab your strap, please. So this is one place where if you don't have a strap, you're not going to be able to use the dowel, or if that's what you have instead. But that's okay. So I want you to bring your strap to the back of your head. Those of you who don't have one, don't worry, you're just going to use your hands a little bit. I'll demonstrate both. And then what you're going to do is bring the strap right up the base of the skull. So on one side, you want it coming up on that lip of the skull, and the other side going down. So let's imagine on the left side, right? You're bringing that strap onto the base of the skull, lifting it up and forward. On the other side, you want it down and across. So already you're probably feeling a little bit like it. You want it to turn to the right. Just helping you turn. So you're going to turn to the left here, right? Just your head. So you're just going to look left and back and left and back. A couple more. So you can sort of feel how the strap is helping you move. And if you don't have a strap, you can lift up on one side and almost down on the other. So just using your hands to lift the skull on the left side and drop it a little bit on the right. Keep going. Keep looking left and back to center. Keep lifting up and across with that left one, down with the right. Last breath here. And then come back to center, release the strap, just a couple breaths. Notice whatever you might notice from one side to the other. And then we'll switch to the opposite side. So again, if you're using your hands, then set up your hands on your head. Otherwise, bring that strap to the base of the skull on the right side, and then across and up on the left side. You want to bring it down into the middle. Try not to bash yourself in the face with a buckle like I just did. And then you want to use the strap to sort of pull your head over to the right and then back to center. So it's very subtle, right? You're just looking right. Just gentle rotation. About 6 more. And then slowly come back to center, release the strap or your hands, couple breaths. Notice whatever you notice. And this is pretty subtle work, but depending on how much tension you have through the neck, sometimes it might feel like your neck has grown about 2 or 3 inches in length, just with that little bit of extra traction. And gently flicker your eyelids open. Grab your strap or your towel. I want you to bring it behind your back. Palms facing back rather than forward. And then hands about hip width, a little bit wider. Oh, sorry, a little bit wider than hip width for sure. Wrap the shoulders toward each other. And then inhale, start to lift the strap back. So that's all this is, just lifting the strap back. Little draw of belly button to spine.
Little bend in the knees. Right? Option 1 is just to stay here. Option 2, maybe you start to squeeze the shoulder blades so much that they start to create a little platform for the heart to lift up as the knuckles draw down. Keep the chin tucked rather than dumping into the back of the neck. And then inhale, come back to center. Change the grip. So if you were palms facing back, now do palms facing forward. Little micro bend in the knees or even a deeper bend. Wrap the shoulder blades toward each other, elbows wrap toward each other, and then start to draw tension on the strap and lift it back and away from the bum or the pelvis. Again, option to stay here. Try not to lock out the elbows. Maybe you send the strap down and the heart up. And then inhale. Slowly come back to center, shake out a little bit. Keep the strap or the hands on the strap or the bar where they are. And then bend your knees. Come into a forward fold. So keep the strap just gently resting on the sacrum, the pelvis to start with. And then you can see that my shoulders are dipping forward. There's no activity in my back. So I want to change all that. Wrap the shoulder blades toward each other. Elbows draw towards each other. And start to lift the strap up. So similar to what we were doing standing, but now we're working a little bit more against gravity. So maybe you should lift the strap up to the sky. Maybe you start to let the arms come forward without the shoulders dipping, right? So there's still that activity. You can take the hands wider for sure, or narrower. If you don't have a strap, you can just clasp your hands. Right? You have a dowel, same thing. You could sway a little bit from side to side. You could open and twist. And then gently bring the strap back to the low back. Switch the grip. So we were palms down. Now let's go palms up. Get the activity going. Wrap the shoulder blades toward each other. Start to lift the strap up. And maybe forward. We'll keep the shoulders from dipping to the floor. And then maybe you stretch a little bit or sway. So you're also getting quite a deep hamstring stretch here, regardless of how bent or straight those knees are. Last breath. And slowly, gently release the strap all the way down and off to the side a little bit. A little sway, whatever you need. And then inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Plant your hands and then step back to hands and knees. Little wiggle, a little sway, maybe a cat and cow, whatever you need to do here. And then really plant your right hand as you inhale, pick the left arm up to the sky. Exhale, sweep the left arm underneath the right. And then inhale, come all the way back up and open. And exhale, thread underneath. And then one more time, inhale up. And exhale, thread. Okay, and maybe you come onto the side of the shoulder and the side of the head, or back to the shoulder, side of the head. Sometimes that feels like a really long way to go, so you might bring a pillow or a block underneath the head, or even underneath your shoulder. You could bring the heel of the right hand into the crease of the left wrist to get more traction on that side. Some people like walking those right fingertips up to the top edge of the mat, or maybe over to the left a little bit, or you might drape the top arm behind the low back. Wherever you need to go. Last couple breaths here. And slowly bring your right hand back underneath your shoulder. Inhale, press yourself back up. Hands and knees, a little cat and cow or wiggle to release anything that might have got stuck. And then plant the left hand. Inhale the right arm up, maybe out. And exhale, thread it underneath the left. Inhale, back up. And exhale, thread. One more.
And again, start to settle down toward the floor. One side might feel so different from the other. Maybe go for that traction. Maybe the fingertips walk up or over, getting into that top armpit a little bit more. Maybe you drape that top arm behind the low back. Last couple breaths here. And then slowly bring that left hand back underneath the shoulder. Inhale back up, hands and knees, little wiggle, little cat and cow. And then send your hips, or come onto the hips on one side. Sweep your legs forward, and then shake the legs out. You can do a little windshield wiper of the knees. You might even actually shift your mat around so that you're sitting off the long edge of it, like I am. Doesn't really matter, particularly if you're on a carpeted floor. Or if you have a chip foam block, then don't worry about it too much. Bring your right shin forward, left shin out to the side. And you're going to come either onto your right hand or maybe your right forearm. This is why I thought maybe the mat or a chip foam block underneath that forearm or a pillow can be quite nice for a little bit more support. And we're just going to do some windmills or circles with that top arm. And then notice if anywhere along the way feels pinchy or sore, then maybe don't go quite into that range of motion, right? Don't do anything that hurts. That sounds like a really easy thing to do, but you'd be surprised how many times we keep working through pain, right? Maybe you pause somewhere that feels really good, really nice opening through the chest or shoulders or through the side body. And then slowly come back up to center. So this next thing that we're going to do is a little bit tricky, particularly with me mirroring you, but that's okay. We'll get into it. So you're going to twist to the right. Right, so hands come onto the in front of that thigh, and you're going to lift that left butt off the floor to give yourself a little bit more space. You're going to twist to the back and the right a little bit more here. So maybe you stay up on forearms or fingertips. Sometimes it feels really good to maybe fold that right forearm in front of you and then reach the left fingertips away, getting into a QL low back, twisty, stretchy thing. So go where you need to go. Maybe you come all the way down. Walking the left fingertips a little bit further away. And then slowly bring your hands underneath you, press yourself back up. And then come forward. Let's switch legs. Left leg comes forward, right leg goes out to the side. And then left palm comes down, or maybe forearm to the floor or to a block, whatever feels good. And then we'll just start those gentle rotations any direction that feels good. Just getting a little bit more mobility through the shoulder, through the chest. Make sure this bottom shoulder is wrapped onto the back a little bit. And again, maybe you pause somewhere, getting that opening through the chest or the side body or that top armpit. Wherever feels good for you. One more inhale. One sweet exhale. And then slowly press yourself back up. And again, we're going to lift through the spine, twist to the left, and then start to explore, twisting a little bit more to the back, coming down maybe onto forearms or maybe one forearm and fingertips, really reaching those right fingertips away from you, getting into the low back, the lats, multifidus, QL. Maybe some people come all the way down onto their face and torso. And then slowly on an inhale, press yourself back up. Sweep your legs forward. Shake them out a little bit. A little windshield wiper of the knees. And then roll down onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Little rock from side to side. And then really start to wrap your hands around your shins or even your forearms. And then curl your nose toward your knees. Maybe you press the shins up to the sky so you get a really deep rounding through the back. And then release. A little rock from side to side. Then take your knees wide up toward your shoulders or armpits. Kick your feet up to the sky. You can grab the backs of the thighs maybe, or the legs, the ankles, or the feet for happy baby. Try to reach your tailbone to the back wall, or the wall in front of you rather than up to the sky. You can rock a little bit from side to side. Just gives lots of length for the spine. And then as always, if there's anything else you feel like you need before your rest, please feel free to take it. It can be posture, meditation, breath work. It could be a little shake out. I don't know, that feels pretty good. And then wherever you end up going for your rest, could be on your back, could be in child's pose, you could be in a seated meditation. For a few breaths, inhale deeply through your nose. Exhale, sigh your breath away. A couple more. And with every exhale, let your body melt a little bit deeper into the earth. And let go of all breath control, all muscle tension or gripping. And stay here as long as you can. 5, 10, 15 minutes even. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.